I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Nashville's football team pulled the upset of Saturday. Vandy 34, Virginia Tech 27. Just not even a golf clap, just an outright clap for Clark and Barton and the boys in that order over about, a quarter mile from our building here. Evan Abrams of Action Network. This is a paper popper of a stat. According to Action Network, double-digit favorites were 58-1 straight up in week one. You're looking at the one. Virginia Tech favored by 13.5. Virginia Tech falls in overtime, 34-27 to Vanderbilt. Whomstead have thunk it, Colin? Whomstead have thunk it? Us, roll it. The model likes Vandy. We have already made Vandy plus 13.5 a Ramen Noodle Express best bet. A lot of the movement that happened on this Vanderbilt roster, sneaky good additions. Tim Beck, the other Tim Beck, the one that was the OC at New Mexico State last year. Before that, he was a D2 head coach for a decade, and they picked him up, and Clark Lee made him the offensive coordinator, but he brought a couple of quarterbacks with him, brought a running back with him, brought a tight end with him. So there are pieces from a pretty effective offense out at New Mexico State. They do some different stuff that they brought over, so it's not totally starting from scratch. It's a home situation for Vanderbilt. And if we look in our model here and we've got all the coaches graded, there is a really interesting, sneaky sort of coaching edge for Vandy in this game. We've invested heavily on those coaching grades. It has greatly enhanced the model's ability to read these sorts of things. Diego Pavia outrushed Virginia Tech. The quarterback for Vanderbilt outrushed Virginia Tech on his own. And I'm going to tell you why. Firstly, it's because they held Virginia Tech to 75 yards rushing on 30 carries. And secondly, it's because Virginia Tech couldn't run the ball nearly as often as they wanted, because that's what happens when you're down 17-0. So good for Vandy. I know that no one talks about him. We rarely talk about him on this show. It is what it is, but it's not because they're not working over there. All options have been considered over there. They cannot operate like LSU. They know that. And so they've exhausted all options, and they apparently found a way to get it done there. And now, so the over-under win total was 2.5, right, Jesse? So they've got one win already. They've got Alcorn State this week. They will be favored. They've got Georgia State the next week. So this could be a situation, one of those good old-fashioned Vandy overs before September's over. Now, they will eventually dive into conference play with a Ball State mixed in there, but good for Vanderbilt. Good for Vanderbilt. Now, does this mean the sky is falling for Virginia Tech? No, it does not. It just means that the hype bubble has popped, and now it's time to go to work because, as far as I can tell, you're still perfect in conference play. Because you're 0-0. They play Marshall this Saturday, and then they got Old Dominion, and then they got Rutgers. They don't jump into conference play until the 27th of September. That's the good news. The bad news, as of now, is that is against Miami on the road on a Friday night. So I don't know what they need to rectify there. I just know that they need to rectify there.